Jake here for American Trucks, and today I'm taking a look at the Barricade soft roll-up tonneau cover fitting 2009 to 2018 Ram 1500s with the 5'7" or 6'4" bed. Just a quick note before we dive into deep here is that if your truck is equipped with the Ram box option, unfortunately this cover is not going to fit. If you're looking for an easy and inexpensive way to add some additional protection and some covered storage to your truck, then look no further. This soft cover from Barricade offers durable materials and easy use at one of the best prices in the segment. Adding a tonneau cover addresses one of the only real issues I could ever find with having a pickup, and that is the lack of covered waterproof storage space that's not inside of the cab. Now, while you could spend a ton of money on a bed topper or a hard tonneau cover, if you want something that's a bit more budget friendly and easy to manipulate that's still going to do the job, a soft cover like this one may be just what you're looking for. Now, this one in particular from Barricade features a roll-up design, so it's going to make for easy use. That means that when you do roll it up, unlike folding covers, this one is going to stay out of the way and it's not going to restrict your rear visibility, not going to block that rear window. In fact, as you can see, this is pretty much about as big as it gets. So when you roll this back up on the truck, this is about what you're looking at. Now this also and you've also got clips on here to keep everything set aside, so when you do roll it up, it's gonna stay right where you need it to be. It's not gonna fly open and kind of flail all about. So you get some extra security that way too. Now this also features a pretty sleek design when it's rolled out and covering the bed too. It keeps things pretty low profile, and it's going to help make for a bit of an aerodynamic bonus too, since covering up the bed might help increase your fuel mileage slightly, since it is going to smooth out airflow over the rear end of the truck. Now, one of the other big benefits to putting a tonneau cover on your truck is that it's going to help keep out dirt and moisture, and that is definitely the case here. So this is going to protect what you've got stored inside of the bed, thanks to the provided weather stripping. So on the outer edge here where the tailgate goes, you've got this nice thick piece of weather stripping. And on the rails themselves, you've got some nice foam on the sides, so this is gonna sit on top of your bed, keep everything nice and sealed up, and the actual cover itself is gonna secure with Velcro along the sides, and since it goes over, you're not gonna get moisture coming up this way. So it gives you a pretty nice covered storage area, keeps things pretty secure. Now again, you can get this pretty easily out of the way should you need the full length of the bed too. All you gotta do is peel this off, roll it up, and then click it into place. Now, construction here is also a highlight. The rails and the frame of the cover are all made from this heavy-duty aluminum, meaning that they are strong and durable, but they're also going to be lightweight, which makes everything easy to handle. And the rails inside the cover itself are pretty much covered up, so you're not going to really see a whole heck of a lot of anything in there. Now, the top of the cover is made from a vinyl-coated polyester fabric, so again, that's going to make it really nice and durable, but also lightweight. And over the top, what you see on its outside of the truck, everything is finished off with this leather type of grain, so it just adds a little bit of extra visual interest, makes it look just that much more premium. So everything is pretty nice and put together very well, and it's gonna make sure that everything you put in the bed of your truck is gonna stay protected. So it's a solid setup, and it's one that should last you a while too, which is great, especially considering the price. And as for that price, this is going to come in at about $275, and that does make it one of the less expensive tonneau covers on the market. It's even pretty inexpensive for a soft cover. You're still getting a good quality item here, and for the benefits this can provide, I really don't see any drawbacks. So I would say this is a worthwhile upgrade. Installation is going to get a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and this should only take you about an hour to complete. Now this is a pretty straightforward process. You really just have to attach the rails, and everything you need to do that comes included in the kit. Basically, it's just a bunch of these brackets, and they just tighten right on. So there's no need to do any kind of drilling or modification to your truck at all. Definitely something that you can tackle at home in the driveway or in the garage. But enough talking about it, let's go ahead and throw it over to the install bay, and we'll walk you through the process.
The tool you're gonna need for this install is a 4mm Allen key, or the key that's included in the kit. What's up guys? Today we're gonna be installing a tonneau cover on our 1500, so let's get started. All right guys, so the first step we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our rail. We're gonna have our locker facing towards the tailgate. We're gonna set this on top of our bed. We're gonna line the end of our rail up where the plastic cover ends. We're just gonna keep that straight. Then we can grab our clamp mechanism. We're gonna remove the thumb nut, remove that bottom part, and this slot here is gonna slide into the rail. It's gonna sit in there like that. Then we're gonna slide that bottom part of the clamp through so it attaches down at the bottom. Then we can screw on our thumb nut. We're not going to fully tighten these down yet until we have everything installed. So it's going to be 3 for each side. So I'm just going to go down the line doing that same process. Now you can repeat this process for the other side. Now once you have both rails installed, we're gonna have our roll-up cover, and we're gonna put this over top of our rails, and the end tabs here are gonna slide into the end of the rails. So now I'm just gonna lay this over top. Going to slide that piece. Might need to unbuckle your cover to get a little better angle. I have to come over to the other side. Just unravel that. And what we might have to do is push our rail a little forward to get it installed. Just gonna give this a little tug. So then we can slide this end in, like so. I'm gonna do that on the other side real quick. Now once we have both sides in place, we're gonna take a 4mm Allen key or the included key, and we're gonna tighten those 2 bolts down. So now we can just tighten this down. It's not going to seat fully in because it's clamping onto our rails. Now you can repeat that process on the other side. So before we roll our cover down, just want to point out that there is covers for the ends of the studs that are included in the kit. So we're just going to slide these over top. So during your work day, you won't cut yourself on these studs. So now you can do that for the remaining 3 on the other side. So now once everything's in place, we can go back down and tighten these up. Now you repeat on the other side. So now we can roll our cover down to the tailgate, and we'll explain later on what to do down there. So these bars are just going to lay in this rail here. So once we get down here, these are your adjusters. There is 2 Allen head bolts in here. So if it's not going and fitting on properly, we can loosen these up and adjust it to where it's nice and tight. So when I tried it, it is a little too tight, so we're gonna have to move this forward a little bit. So we're gonna take that 4mm Allen key, and we're gonna loosen these 2 up. We're just gonna play around with it a little, so maybe we can go to 2 inches. It does go 1 through 5 on here, so you know where you're at. So now we can just tighten this down. Gonna do that on the other side real quick. All right guys, so I found the best adjustment is, if you would say, -1, and a good recommendation is to leave this out in the sun for a couple hours so it warms up and stretches, so it makes it a little bit easier when you fold this over. So now we can bring this over, and since I did not put this in the sun and let it stretch, it's gonna look a little bit more complicated than it really is. So we're gonna have these hooks going into our adjusters. We're gonna pull this to where this foam piece doesn't hit the rail. Just gonna get that side slightly in. And we'll use these as the latches. So we have this side and this side latched in. You can lift up, close our tailgate, and your install is complete. So that's gonna wrap up the review and install on our Barricade soft roll-up tonneau cover for your 09 to 18 Ram 1500 with a 5.7 foot and 6.4 foot box and without a Ram box. Thanks for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.